think that if you are serious about playing the electric guitar, you have a band maybe, you write some music, you record music at home or in a studio, I think you should have a secondary instrument. And I don't think that should be a banjo or ukulele or a mandolin. I think you should have a lap steel. I played a lap steel for many years now and I've gotten so much out of it. It's refreshing to have something else to play on, not just play the guitar. It's different enough that it feels like you are doing something else, but you can also transfer what you know from the guitar to the lap steel. So in this video I want to basically show you as much as possible about the lap steel, what you can use it for, if there's any specific gear that you need to get the sounds, all of that. And I got interested in the lap steel for a couple of reasons. First, I was really into the sound of slide guitar, but I couldn't really do it on a regular guitar. And the second reason, I was listening to a lot of Queens of the Stone Age and they used a lap steel in a very untraditional way, and that was my segue into trying it myself. And then I decided to buy my first lap steel, which is this one. And when you start to learn lap steel, this is kind of the little brother of the pedal steel, which I just love the sound of a pedal steel. You are supposed to tune it in C6. Let's check that out because it's kind of problematic. So you really get that Hawaiian SpongeBob kind of vibe when you're using the C6 tuning. I kind of like it, but it's also difficult. You have to relearn a lot of things. At least that's what it felt like for me. So I moved on pretty quickly from that tuning to a E open tuning. But you can still get that country sound if you want to. And the way that I play, I mostly use my fingers on the right hand. I don't use any finger picks. That is just way too difficult for me. I put my bar like this, I hold it like this, and I put some fingers here to dampen the strings behind the bar. Sometimes you can hear that I'm plucking the string, or I can use a volume pedal and I can fade them in. And I like to use a combination of both, really. So with an open E, it's a lot easier to find every position you want to, because it's very similar to a E standard that you usually use on your electric or acoustic guitar. But I did also find it a bit limiting because you can only play major chords because it's an open E major. But then I feel really smart about this because I haven't seen anyone else do it this way, at least. I looked at the strings and the open E chord and I thought, is there one string here that I can sacrifice to get minor chords? I'm not really using the lowest E string a whole lot, so maybe I can use that one. So I tune that to the minor third in the scale, so I can use that string to play minor chords. And the gear I use to get this sound, I go straight out from my lap steel to a compressor. I do that to get some more sustain in my sound. After that, I go to a volume pedal. It's important to have the compressor working before the volume pedal. If you have the compressor after, the compressor will struggle with the level coming into the compressor because you are constantly riding the volume up and down with your volume pedal. So be sure to go compressor, volume pedal, and then straight into your amp. You can also place a reverb, a delay, or some drive between your volume pedal and your amp. I like to use very clean amps. I've used Fenders live. Right now I'm using my Kemper with some special lap steel and pedal steel profiles that are very clean. You have different bars to use on the lap steel. This is the first one that I got with a really nice wooden handle, sort of. It's a bit heavy, so I've started to use this one made of glass instead. It looks like something completely different, honestly. And you also have, yeah, different styles that are all good, basically. But this is my favorite at the moment. And for the first sounds here, I've used some reverb built into my Kemper. And it gets really interesting when you turn up that reverb and you start to move into ambient territory. I like my lap steel way more than any electric guitar for ambient stuff. Let's hear how this sounds. This is just a plate reverb turned up to, yeah, a lot. And let's do some shimmer stuff. I kind of hate to say that about my own playing, but that is beautiful, right? And we can push that even more with using even more effects. This is my Chroma console, and I'm adding some cassette lo-fi effect to that. And we can push that even more with using a Boss SY200, and that is something that I often do when I write music. And after you've done all of those effects, it's just really cool to get back to this. And I'm just looking at Sweetwater at the different lap stills that you can get there. They have the Gretsch that I own. I used that for many years and I don't really have anything bad to say about it. But I would say that with lap stills, the price and quality isn't as important as with electric guitars. It's an easier instrument to make, I would say. I haven't made one myself, but my guess is that it's a lot easier to make, so you don't have to spend a lot of money. You also have the Duesenbergs here on Sweetwater, and they are great. They also have these on the back where you can use the lap steel more like a pedal steel, where you are sort of like bending the strings. I haven't tried it, but I've heard it's great. But yeah, I would say that most of these are good, and you can probably even start with the cheapest one at $249, the Recording King lap steel. Or you can check Reverb and see if there's anything good there. Yeah, you can get them at different prices. Yeah, this is one that I've been eyeballing for many years, a Gibson Skylark, but they are quite expensive. So yeah, I'm not buying that. If you want to check out some really good lap steel players, I have a couple for you. First one being Daniel Lanois. Most of the time I think he plays the pedal steel, but sometimes he plays the lap steel as well. So check out his solo albums, they are fantastic. And also, what's her name again? Christine Bougie, I think that's how you pronounce it. She has a lot of instrumental solo albums and often with lap steel, and she's a great guitar player and also a great, fantastic lap steel player, so check her out as well. I think you will be inspired. So there you have it. You should get a lap steel. Absolutely, you should get a lap steel. Get a cheap one. Use the gear that you already have. You probably have a good enough amp and reverb and maybe even a volume pedal and a compressor. You don't need that. You need the amp and the lap steel and something to play the lap steel with. Do it. Thank you for watching this video, and goodbye.